Not all supplements are created equal. In fact, some are backed by science and others are just backed by expensive placebos. But how do you tell the difference? And is a multi-level marketing vitamin you bought just actually helping your health, or is it padding someone's commission check? In fact, more than 75% of supplements on the market actually contain fillers, contaminants, or mislabeled ingredients, according to JAMA. And the multi-level marketing supplement industry is worth over $55 billion, but most products lack third-party testing or even clinical research to back their claims, according to Grandview Research. Hi, everybody. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Dr. Erica Steele. I'm a board-certified naturopathic doctor. I hold 7 degrees in my field, all in the natural healthcare space. I like to say that I went to school so you don't have to. So we are talking about the supplement industry. So we are going to get into the huge difference between MLM brands, over-the-counter supplements, and professional grade formulas, because most people just don't know what to look for. If you are in my intro to holistic medicine class, welcome to week 8. If you're not and you still want to register, it is a self-paced course. So whenever you find this course, if you're interested in the content, you can go to the link in the bio, scroll down, and fill out the form. So if you've actually wondered whether your vitamins are actually working or not, or you're just throwing your money away, let's go ahead and deep dive into it. So first off, let's frame this out. What is a multi-level marketing supplement? A multi-level marketing brand or a company relies on distributors. So they're not selling through professionals or products, but mostly through distributors. So they don't necessarily have to, have training. Products are often marked up to support commission-based sales structures, and many of them lack third-party testing or clinical trials to prove effectiveness. So for instance, a popular multi-level marketing company may claim that their probiotic is clinically proven, but the study was funded by the company itself, not an independent third-party lab. And so that serves as a conflict of interest. We see these things all the time. And I'm not saying that multi-level marketing companies are all bad, right? There are some ethical ones. There are some that actually do take, their scientific studies seriously, and they've stood the test of time. They really just use it as a business model, right? Young Living is one of those examples. And so, it's not necessarily the business model to get the product out as much as it is the efficacy of the product. And we can't really base things off of testimonials. Just because, your Aunt Sue felt good when she took it doesn't mean that, your cousin, Gina is going to be able to have those same results, because there's really no science based off it. It's really just how their vibes, right? Okay, so now let's talk about over-the-counter versus professional grade supplements. So over-the-counter supplements, the ones that you can get at like the drugstore, big box retailer, or Amazon, things like that, often contain synthetic, lower quality ingredients and inconsistent potency, especially with vitamins and herbs, because there's really nobody regulating that, looking at that, assessing that. So pretty much you can sell anything. You can put anything in the bottle, throw it on the shelf. And we know that most larger companies, they're really just looking to turn a profit. So they're not going to test their raw materials. They're not necessarily going to do their due diligence to find quality suppliers. They're really just marketing off of convenience for the most part. Whereas with professional grade supplements, they do require medical oversight. And so you have to work with a provider or a clinician or somebody like that, or have access. And the reason being is because we use higher potency, more bioavailable ingredients that actually get absorbed. And so if a patient, let's say, is on medication and there's an interaction and they take it, the provider could get in trouble. And so here's the other thing too. If you're recommending professional grade supplements and you don't have any education or training or background, you're just guessing, that's also very dangerous and puts not only the patient liable, but also you. So making sure that we don't guess with supplements. I'm a big proponent of testing, working with food-based supplements first, and then moving up to professional grade supplements as you have a deeper understanding of biochemistry, of labs, of things that you can verify. That way you're not getting into dangerous levels, and you also have some baseline education in pharmacology to actually understand what nutrient interactions may be. And there's lots of different resources and tools that we have, the day today to be able to help us with that. But understanding that there is a difference. So for instance, let's say a drugstore magnesium oxide may only absorb about 4%, but a professional grade magnesium glycinate absorbs about 80%. or more. So huge difference, huge difference in efficacy. So we really want to make sure that you know what to do. Thank you for that. Okay, so how to spot a quality supplement. So the first thing is we look at GMP certified. Those are good manufacturing practices. Then we're going to look at third-party testing, which you can use NSF, USP, or even consumer labs that do third-party independent testing. Again, not the company testing, but third-party. And then this is definitely a reach for a lot of companies, but clinical research. Do they have any PubMed-backed studies, not just company claims? Now, a lot of companies will rest on clinical research of that particular nutrient. So let's say they'll look up, magnesium, and they will have the clinical information and all the benefits from magnesium, but not necessarily their product. So definitely look to see if they have tested their specific product, their specific formula, or if they're just resting off the laurels of that. And I understand because, testing is really expensive. Studies are really expensive. We talked in previous weeks, very small percent, I think 5% of the budget for studies actually goes to supplements and more lifestyle related things. The rest, the bulk, actually goes to pharmaceutical research and things like that, because they're probably the ones that are funding most of it. Anywho, also to recognize that professional grade products tend to have no fillers, binders, or artificial additives. So as a for instance, right, if you're, let's say, recommending a D, I like to get my D from the sun. That's just me. But let's say if I want to do supplemental D, the research is really not favorable about D supplementation. However, let's say if you wanted to do a D, instead of doing that synthetic D2 that most physicians put their patients on, that doesn't absorb, also synthetic, has soybean oil in it, and them on, let's say, a D3 with a fat source like an MCT oil, that's going to help with proper absorption. But they don't learn those things in conventional medical school. So when they're making those recommendations, they're pretty much, what they can prescribe. So how do you, as a now educated holistic health and supplement consumer, how do you choose the right brand? First off, you want to avoid brands that are sold through influencers or non-medical sales reps. So I know that it's tempting. You're scrolling. Oh, wow. Let me check this. Let me check that. There's no efficacy on that. That person really, the only reason they're selling it is for, I'm sure they're selling it because they want to help people, but they're not monitoring you. They're not doing a consultation with you. They're not asking you questions. They're not making sure that this is what you actually need. They're literally just selling a product like you were buying it off the shelf. You also want to look for brands that share independent lab results. So they have a certificate of analysis. Most companies will have that listed on their website. They can, or if you call, you can get it pretty readily available, especially with professional companies. And stick to trusted lines. So I've used Zymogen for many, many years. I've used other companies, Energetics, Apex Energetics, Biotics, definitely used many companies over the years and still do. And I do that because I've had good success with them, efficacy. They say what is in the bottle is on the bottle. There is a lot of different standards they have. If a brand actually won't share its third-party testing with you, that's a huge red flag. Or if they use vague marketing like proprietary blend, that's also a super red flag, because again, we want disclosure. We want to know what's in our products. We want to know what we're putting in our bodies. So the supplement industry is filled with a lot of hype, a lot of misinformation, and tons of overpriced products, let me tell you. But when you know what to look for, you can begin to protect yourself and your health, because if you're serious about quality supplements, you want to check out resources that use third-party tested brands. So there's lots of different companies. We give you access to our dispensary in our community. So if you ever need, a trusted brand, you have it under our umbrella. Also, too, if you need to ask me a question about a supplement, I'm readily available as well. We can run a lab. We can see, if you actually need that. So if you find this helpful, please like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what's one supplement that you take daily. Next up, we're going to be talking about how to read a supplement. So we're going to get into a deep dive of supplement readings, labels 101. We're going to myth bust. We're going to get into it. So definitely tune in.